I'm DK Singh. The biggest story of this Maharashtra Assembly election is Ajit Pawar. Everybody has written him off. Look how he has risen like a phoenix from the ashes. 40 seats out of the 57 the NCP contested. And the man who is behind this turnaround in Ajit Pawar's fortune is here with me. Naresh Arora, co-founder of Designed Box, a digital marketing and political campaign management company. Welcome to the print, Naresh.
Thank you, DK Singh ji. Thank you for your kind words.
Before I come to the elections, I have this question which has been weighing on my mind for a while. Why this Design Box, the name of the company that you chose? What's the idea behind this name?
See, this name has been chosen by my partner and my schoolmate. She's the one who decides on the creative aspects of everything. So when we were to incorporate this organization, so the naming activity was left to her. So she came up with this name, Design Boxed, and I generally go by his instincts on that. So I didn't ask much about it, but thereafter I could see that everyone was interested in it, and most of the people till date spell it or pronounce it wrong. They either call it Design Box or they call it Designed Box. Everything. I've seldom seen anyone pronouncing and writing it correctly. So it holds a distinct value, and that is why I can see that you were also interested in that question. So this name came from her.
Okay, let me come to the elections now. So when you brought that turnaround for the Congress in Karnataka or at other places, I mean, Karnataka, at least you got about a year to work on. Here in Maharashtra, when you were approached, did you feel intimidated because you hardly had any time, and given Ajit Pawar's image, like everybody thought he was gone, like NCP had won just 1 out of 4 Lok Sabha seats. Everybody had written him off. Was it a daunting thing when you were approached?
Yeah, of course, any election is a daunting activity, daunting task. But having had experience with Congress, working with Congress and getting 30 days or 40 days for campaigning, so still there were 4 or 5 months. So considering that, we were battle hardened to see that how to navigate ourselves through with less time at hand. But 4 or 5 months were enough, as it proved to be today, that whatever we could undertake, we tried to, and extra hours put in. The sleep meter on my Whoop band shows me that it is 4.5 hours for the last 1 month. So that those extra hours were put up and put in, and that's where we are today.
When I met you in Mumbai, you said it will be definitely more than 30-35. As it is, we speak, NCP is leading on 43. Are you a bit surprised? Has it exceeded your expectation?
I would not say I'm surprised, but yes, we were confident about a bracket of 30 to 35. We were very confident about, because I had the luxury of working seat by seat, because there were a handful of seats in comparison to other parties, and out of 288, we were contesting 57. So the seat by seat understanding was there, and I could see that these are the number of seats which we are surely ahead. The surveys were telling us whatever we were getting from the ground and our secondary researchers. Yes, post that number, yes, there are few seats which we were not expecting to win, but they have come to us, and they have not come to us by a whisker. They have come to us by a big margin. So that tells us that we were being conservative, and the voters were not being conservative. Their outpouring was much bigger than what we would have expected.
So tell me the story of this turnaround. How did you do this?
See, there were few factors which were to be, first of all, understood. The number one being that Mr. Ajit Pawar was not functioning and as a deputy chief minister anymore. He was alongside the national president of the party, and he was to get votes in his names, a role which he had never undertaken. He used to contest Baramati, he used to go and campaign for other candidates, and that was it. Now, everything related to party also had to be run by him, and not just by passing circulars or signing appointment letters. He had to go to the masses. He had to re-energize his cadres. He had to see that these things need to come along, so that people can see that there is a party at play and not just a bunch of individuals or local satraps. So that role understanding was number one factor to start the campaign, which Mr. Ajit Pawar very readily understood. Once he understood that role, then he disembarked on the Jan Samman Yatra. That Jan Samman Yatra, which took him to around 40 constituencies, and it was a non-stop yatra. Every day he was traveling to a couple of constituencies. He was spending 2 days in Mumbai to undertake his ministerial duties to Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Apart from those 2 days, for 5 days he was traveling day and night to various parts of the state. And it started very early when no one was in the game. The Jan Samman Yatra at that point, not even our alliance partners, not even the opposition, no one was campaigning the way he was doing. And when he got out the way he did, with the new image, I would say, in which he was a smiling Ajit Pawar, donning a pink jacket. The campaign was a bit pink also, and the way it was connecting, it was giving confidence to him by the day. And when he saw that, he started liking it, he started enjoying it, he started putting more of his heart and soul into it. By that time, we were also identifying that the number of constituencies that were to be contested, not that we were to contest more number of seats to show that, okay, fine, we are also a big player, rather than focusing on winning the constituencies and being considered as a big player. So once alongside that exercise was also being undertaken, because this party has generally not been a cadre-based party, so our on-ground activities required a major push. And I'm very happy to tell you that we touched more than 18 lakh households in this campaign, not once but twice, in which, of course, the party's policies, party schemes, everything was propagated. So these activities also were undertaken. The biggest thing which, according to me, different to any other party, whether in alliance or opposition, was to focus on a localized campaign. We released 57 manifestos, 57 constituency manifestos in consultation with the candidates and with our inputs. Parallelly, even Mr. Ajit Pawar released his manifesto for Baramati, which was a first for him. It basically showed that the candidates cared for the local factors, and it also helped us in neutralizing any sentiment which was coming from any past emotions, because the voters generally are transactional. They need something of a comfort in which they could see that, okay, fine, the sentiment at state level might be whatever it is, but at the moment, ABC candidate is good. He has worked for my constituency. Whatever he's promising, it is going to benefit me personally. Might as well elect that person. So I think that also worked in our favor.
Did you ask him to start smiling? I'm sure you must have asked him to start laughing also, but that did not come very easily. But we saw him smiling all the way. Was it also a part of political
Mr. Ajit Pawar is a very private person. He doesn't indulge into any gossip mongering. He's very to the point. He will start his day early. He will focus on the jobs at hand, what the task he has. I think in that busyness of the lifestyle that he has led, he hardly found any time to smile with anyone, because the people come to him only with work. I require this, I require that. This is supposed to be done, that is supposed to be done, and he's busy getting those things done. And when he's with bureaucrats, he's a very tough taskmaster. He's giving his directions, his instructions, and tries to get very deep into the subject. And one other thing which I noticed with him was that he has very sharp memory. He doesn't forget. He just needs to be told once, if it is to be the case. And with that all in his mind, so he never probably used to find time to smile. So once he stepped out of his Mantralaya office, his official residence and to the streets and the parks of Maharashtra. So probably that gave him an opportunity to express himself the way he sees things. So those smiling pictures probably were there on social media, and people have been trying to attribute those smile to me or to someone else. It is actually Mr. Ajit Pawar who has been doing that. And I'm sure that he likes smiling. Everyone likes smiling. Who doesn't?
Yeah, now he must be laughing. And what was the idea behind this pink? I'm sure I'm wearing that pink jacket. He must be uncomfortable in front of the mirror. I mean, what's happening to me?
Mr. Ajit Pawar delivered the last budget, which was his 10th budget, wearing this color jacket. This color jacket he was wearing. It's not that I invented that color. So we thought, our team sat down and we thought that this color is something which should be, which should stick with him, and he should continue with that. And NCP in any case required a distinct identity, because there was no cool factor about them. The Lok Sabha decimation had further reduced their morals, whatever they had, diminished that. So it required something unique. It required something to stand out of the clutter of six parties. Earlier there used to be four. Now there are six parties, and two parties have similar color, orange and saffron. Then all other four parties had similar white and tricolor. So there was nothing unique about them. There's nothing new about them. So a new color, a new Ajit Pawar, a new smile, a new format of campaign. So everything, I think, clicked and it worked for them. And the major thing was that as a general of the army, your soldiers and your ranks need to be energized. They need to do something which is they have not done, and they all want to win. They all want to be on the winning side. So I think that worked well for them, and that's the result we see today.
Did this pink color also have something to do with an attempt to kind of strike a kind of chord with the women voters, especially the beneficiaries of the
See, last time we I discussed this on air with someone. I was accused of being gender biased, so I would not go into that. I would just say that yes, pink is a good color. In Maharashtra, in any case, the gulal is pink and yellow. It's a color of happiness. Even I am wearing a pink today, if you could see, because everyone around me is happy, so we're feeling happy about it.
How did he manage? Was it very difficult to get out of his uncle's shadow? And especially when, most of your family members are accusing you of being a betrayer, that he betrayed his uncle, and Sharad Pawar being such a stalwart. And how difficult was it to kind of get over this kind of image?
See, DKG, there are two ways to address such kind of issues. There is no doubt that Mr. Sharad Pawar is a towering personality in Maharashtra politics. He is admired, respected, the most, I would say, in Maharashtra after Mr. Balasaheb Thackeray, and that is there. But now Mr. Ajit Pawar never wanted to, and he can't reduce that admiration for Mr. Sharad Pawar. Now the only thing for him to do is to raise admiration for himself. So I have always believed that you draw your line longer so that you can stand out of the crowd. And he focused, everyone in the party focused, including Mr. Praful Patel, Mr. Sunil Tatkare, that we are not going to go the path which we can't win. We are going to draw our own path. That is a positive campaign. That is our strength of our candidates. That is the strength of our governance, administration, and the development which has been done, welfareism which has been done in this respective constituencies. We did not deviate from it even for a day, for a moment, for a statement, and that is for the media to see, because we keep track of the media narratives. We keep track of the positive and negative headlines, and that you would see that Mr. Ajit Pawar and his party stuck to the plan. They didn't deviate, whereas opposition kept throwing stones at him, at his party, including me. I'm surprised at why people should throw stones at people who are just working professionally. I was personally abused, trolled, which is the case when you are in public space. But to the extent that I was trolled and abused in this election, I didn't expect that. So I think that didn't work. That seldom works. I would not say it never works, but that seldom works. People vote for what they get. People don't vote for who is worse. So this is a narrative which I, at least in my campaigns, have never tried to sell. That okay, fine, we both have bad. Let us see who the worst one is. I always try to see that how we can portray and we can convey, we can disseminate that how we are better. You see that if your life gets better by voting the party or the candidates we're working with. So that agenda, I think, people like, people appreciate it. And it's not just with NCP. All other parties also in the alliance have reaped dividends of staying positive, and the positive campaigns generally lead to votes. Negative campaigns lead to only headlines.
So not attacking Sharad Pawar, even going to the extent of saying that fielding his wife against Supriya Sole was a mistake. Were these things a part of that strategy? I mean, not to offend people who might be Sharad Pawar's admirers.
See, Mr. Ajit Pawar genuinely felt it was a mistake. And politicians generally don't admit mistakes in public. But whatever the limited number of cases we have historically where big politicians have expressed apology or expressed regret on something, they have been generally, people have been kind to them. And Mr. Ajit Pawar felt from heart that it was a mistake, that there should not have been a family contest, and he expressed that publicly. Now, with that also, the opposition had no way to go, and they, because that battle they had already won, so there was no point for them to go back and continue beating the same bush, because it was not going to be the same battle. The battle was new, and that also gave him an opportunity to put the ball back in the opposition's court by telling that I committed the mistake first time and I am apologizing. I paid the price for it. Now they are committing the same mistake by putting up a family member as a candidate against me in Baramati. And today the verdict from Baramati, from a reversal of 65,000 in the Lok Sabha to the tune of upward of 80,000, what I last saw, is a reversal of around 1.5 lakh votes in one assembly segment. And trust you me, when we entered Baramati for the first time, the first rally, the first campaign rally which we did in Baramati was not the best of it. And ironically, the last campaign rally also happened in Baramati at the same venue. And the spillover was beyond roads. So in 4 or 5 months, the life came a full circle with all what we planned, what we executed under Ajit Pawar's leadership.
A political strategist like you would never lose sight of the opposition campaign, opposition camp. I'm sure you must have been keeping a tab on what Sharad Pawar camp was doing. Where did they go wrong?
You will be surprised and you won't believe, but I must tell that I generally am too focused on what we are supposed to do, and it should be done well. It should be executed to as much perfection as we possibly can. But having said that, of course, everyone does keep a eye, whether it is from a corner of your eye or you are doing it full time, that what opposition is doing. The opposition was doing negative campaign. The opposition was only throwing stones at every step, every word. And as I told you, including me, I'm not supposed to be targeted the way I was targeted, because things were working on the ground. And when you see your opposition or against whom you are contesting change narrative every single day, you know that things are not working for them. And that is why the narrative is being changed every day. Had they resorted to something more positive and tried to show that, because the goodwill Mr. Sharad Pawar enjoys is phenomenal. That is known to everyone, whether you stay in Maharashtra or not. And if you come to Maharashtra, you will probably have a better idea of it. That should or could have been utilized in a way to present a positive agenda. Because once the Ladki Bahin Yojana was out, they were very confused whether to criticize it, whether to block it, whether to abuse it, whether to approve it, acknowledge it, everything they did. But it was all week after week after week. There was no consistency in that. That was one. Secondly, what I see is that their ticket distribution went too far. It went too far with us also, but we had settlement on most number of seats, and we never were public in the alliance about what the way things were being settled. The data exchange was there, and all alliance partners were majorly on the same page, apart from few friendly contests that we had to undertake. And the ticket distribution from the opposition also went public. If you could see that the kind of statements that came out from the Congress party leaders, the Shiv Sena leaders, and then the formation of committees, and then going back to Delhi. So it kept getting delayed. What it further did for the Congress or the opposition campaign was that they couldn't launch the campaign in time. They launched it very late in the day. By then, the major game was settled. And I think that is where they could have been a bit more proactive.
Give us your analysis of overall results. We just spoke about Ajit Pawar only, but overall results in Maharashtra. How do you read it?
See, overall results again are testimony to the fact, which I have said on your show also a couple of times in the past few years, that positive campaigns lead you to victories. Negative campaigns will generally not lead you to victories. And 2024 parliament elections are the biggest testimony to that statement. That the ruling alliance was leading a negative campaign of whatever they were saying, that those statements I won't repeat. And they fell short of the majority, the BJP. They realized that this is not going to work. They very carefully put their head down in Haryana and saw what worked for them, what didn't work for them, what can work for them. And in that quest, they worked towards that direction. Similarly, in Maharashtra, after the debacle in Maharashtra parliament elections, whether it was NCP, whether it was Shinde Sena, or whether it was BJP, they all put their heads down, they worked on the ground, and the schemes and the positive agenda, which is probably something which every campaign should know, learn. The voter is very transactional. The voter needs to know that what they are going to get when they go to the polling booth and press the button up against in front of the symbol. So those things work better, and the Ladki Bahin Yojana didn't win on its own. No schemes win on their own. No governments make schemes, or no schemes make governments. The party symbol identification, the propagation on the ground, for that the credit should go to every party, whether it is Shiv Sena, whether it is BJP, that every household knew that if this money is coming and the 5 installments have been credited to their account, this is the reason, this is the party, this is the person who has made it happen. And these are the people who are not allowing that to happen. And this is, I think, which is the biggest takeaway for any election.
Was Ladki Bahan scheme the game changer in your view?
Yes, of course it was. It gave a lease of life to the ruling alliance. And then the way it was campaigned, the way it reached people, that is, again, as I said in your answer to your last question, that is something which all these 3 parties should be credited with. The Ladki Bahin Yojana was a lease of life, but the way it was used, the way it went, it was campaigned all over the state, door to door, house to house. That is something which has resulted into the massive victory and decimation for the opposition.
You were the one who came up with that 6 guarantees poll plank in Karnataka that turned things around for the Congress there. Again, from one state to another, you have been doing that. I mean, wherever you have been involved, and it has been working. Looking at what has happened in Maharashtra and even in Jharkhand, are these freebies here to stay? I mean, are they going to define electoral battles now?
Well, from the look of it, it does. And I generally not see them as freebies. I see them as social security steps which the governments are supposed to undertake. It is too late in the day for our country also that these schemes have have come in now, when the governments are not able to generate the kind of employment that they should be, and the other benefits to a I would say a prosperous life for the ones who are not as privileged. These are the steps the government should have taken long back. Tamil Nadu started in 60s with these kind of what so-called freebies, which I say social welfare activities the governments are obligated to do. So I think that now that because they're giving electoral benefits, I'm seeing that they are benefiting the India Alliance in Jharkhand as well with the scheme similar kind of scheme which they have in Jharkhand also. So I see that these schemes are here to stay.
We know how you turn things around in Karnataka for the Congress. Even in the recent Rajasthan election, I mean, only last year, everybody had written off the Congress. Congress did a creditable job, in fact, a very, very decent tally they got. Earlier, in 2018, you were involved in Chhattisgarh elections also. Things changed for the Congress. In Maharashtra, if you were the Congress party's poll strategist, how would you have done things differently?
See, I'll leave that question for another day because I was thankfully not Congress party strategist in this election. People were planning, they did to their best of abilities, and it didn't turn out to their expectations. My good luck to them, whosoever is doing that. But there was one thing which I generally don't allow to get to me is complacency. They were complacent. They thought that it is a done deal after parliament elections. They only woke up post Haryana elections, I would say. That, okay, fine, this something can work out. And even then, I think they had time. But that time was not utilized. That was the major thing. Otherwise, a lot of things, see, in any election, there are a lot of things which we all do right. There is a fixed template. This is how things have to run in an election. But elections are generally won by ones who commit the least number of mistakes, who do things timely. And if you fall back on one or two of them, then the battle gets out of hand. And I think that is what has happened with the opposition. With the scrabble over the chief ministership and the seats, candidates. A lot of things could have been handled very well because they were a better oiled alliance. They had won together. That creates more trust. That creates more sense of, I would say, accommodation. When there was another alliance on the other side in which the alliance had not won together, they had lost. So that leads to a lot of tug of wars. But this alliance held better. The expectation from the other side was better, but this alliance held better. That's what I say.
You worked with the Congress for so long, from Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Rajasthan, Karnataka. I mean, I can keep counting. What happened this time? How come you landed up in the opposition's camp?
Well, I, after Rajasthan, was not very keen on taking up any such assignment. But when our talks happened and the opportunity was there, so I could see that there is something which people at that point were mentioning, that with Ajit Pawar, one was ready to write Naresh Arora's obituary as well. So you know me by now that I try to and like to take up challenges. So my team was also against it, that this is a suicide committing what we are doing. But then I said that, okay, fine, let's work in a state where we have not worked, and it's a non-Hindi speaking state. We don't know the language much, and let us see. People are not having any expectation from us in any case. So might as well try our luck and try to see that whatever best we can do. So that was the only incitement, I would say, or excitement about it. And today the results thankfully have fallen in our side, and I would humbly accept them.
I don't know how closely you have been looking at Bihar by-polls. I'm sure you must be busy, Maharashtra thing. But there, Prashant Kishor's party, Jan Suraj party, has come third or fourth in different seats. It has not had a good outing. Now, let me ask you a cheeky question. Is it so difficult for a poll consultant, poll strategist, who makes other people win, to become a politician himself and win the election for himself?
See, I am in an enviable position of not having to do it for myself. So I can't be able to, I can't speak for anyone else, but of course it is a difficult thing when you are doing something for someone and you have to do it for yourself. And I've not had the chance to look at the outcome of the by-polls there or in UP. But I would say that expectations were in any case very low from those by-polls from Mr. Prashant Kishor. Though when he did make the party, I texted him wishing him well. And I firmly believe that he's putting in a lot of hard work, and hard work will lead to success. It generally does.
Before I let you go, let me ask my last question. What's next for Naresh Arora?
For next is my meal, which I've not had since morning. So that is the only thing which I'm thinking about. Apart from that, professionally, we'll have another day for conversation.
Naresh, thank you very much for sparing time for us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ikiji.